Yo, 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 yo. What's up, guys? I'm back in the driver's seat, just me, trying to figure out how to do all this shit, and it doesn't work. I've just buttons and buttons and buttons and buttons, because the producer is not here tonight again, and probably won't be for a while, because he's trying to overthrow our Republican governor in a political war with the Libertarian Party at his side. And so it's going to be me kind of driving this bus solo for a while, pushing the buttons and doing the thing. So welcome. It's Driving Speakerbox.
Yeah, well, we'll be working the kinks out. Vince said there was no theme song this time around, so I guess
he didn't hear the theme song.
Yeah, we'll have to get that sorted out. We heard it.
I was playing it.
Yeah, it was coming through our headsets.
Yeah, it was loud as hell. But hey, that's what you do. And I'm just, one of these days I wanna like flip the camera around and just kind of show y'all the stuff that you don't get to see. The behind the scenes are jazz. But anyway, I'm your host, Bo, the boom operator.
No, I'm Jake the Grip.
And normally we talk about movies all night. And see, look, here's stuff you can see in the behind the scenes if you're tuned into the live stream. In the reflection of my glasses, you can see all the sound paneling on the ceiling. So I'm gonna remove these because reflection continuity errors. There's gonna be like a Starbucks cup up there, and somebody's gonna freeze frame it, and it's gonna be weird.
Oh yeah. Well, I bet Vince would probably be one to do that for us for sure.
See the star cup, Starbucks. But anyway, I'm going to have to pour myself a little bit of Hennessy if it's going to be this kind of night. Cheers to everybody.
McLean said the theme didn't come through on YouTube either.
We'll
get it figured out.
We'll get it figured out.
We're working on it. So
it's nothing I can fix right now.
But thanks for coming in early, Vince and McLean, and counterexample.
And I didn't hit record on the podcast, so there we go, forgetting to do that too. See the things that there's a lot of buttons. So anybody want to be the producer? We're taking resumes right now. If you want to come up into the studio and help us record this, the payment is
you get to hang out with us
and Hennessy and drink Coors and
what's better? You know what?
Talk movies, man.
Yeah, Vince is already trying to get people going here. He's asked what the better movie is, Die Hard or T2. I mean, what are your criteria factors?
Oh, geez.
New Fast and Furious shirt just for you, Vince, and for Bo and Vince.
Fast and Furious shirts. T2 or Die Hard. That's a tough one, man, because you've got a couple of different factors at play. Like T2 is one of those movies that I would say I like it more than Die Hard, but I watch Die Hard more than T2. You know what I'm saying?
I can't say that I've watched one more than the other because anytime they're on or around, that's what I'm watching now. There's just movies that you can't turn the channel once you find. Die Hard's one of them. Shawshank Redemption's one of them. Those are in the official How I Met Your Mother Bro Code book too. I think those are the two examples provided is Die Hard and Shawshank Redemption. So
both of those movies, fantastic movies. I mean, my movie that I can never turn off if I see it is The Burbs. That movie is one of my favorite movies to just always watch. I don't know, but favorite movies are a really difficult topic because we
got into that last week a little bit, didn't we?
Tough. Dave, our guest Dave Calhoun, he was agreeing it's a really hard thing to talk about what your favorite film is because it can always change. It's a moving target. But anyway, let's talk about some of the news like we do at the beginning of every program. We lost a famous person today. I'm wearing my shirt from the Max, which is actually a barcade in Tulsa, but Dustin Diamond, aka Screech, passed away this afternoon with stage 4 lung cancer. Dustin Diamond, not necessarily one of the most well-loved thespians in the world. For everybody said that he was actually kind of not fun to work with a lot, and then he did the pornography.
I was about to say he proved them all wrong when he whipped out his major hog and was like, "What's up? Screech no more."
It was a record screech, and everybody's like, "What? He's doing porn?"
Yeah.
But I heard he used a stunt penis. So we will see.
Whoa, just like Orgasmo?
Just like Orgasmo.
Stunt cock!
Stunt cock!
Yeah, Orgasmo is a great movie.
Shout outs to Cosmic Drew, sending hearts from down below. So yeah, funny story. There was like some sick bass coming up from below the floor, and we're on the upstairs where our studio is. And I was like, man, I hate to be the guy that has to go downstairs and like go, hey, can you turn the music down just a little bit? Normally I wouldn't care. I'd be like, yeah, bass. But I was like, okay, we're about to record. I got to go be that guy. And I was like, okay, hopefully they're cool. Just be cool. Just ask them politely. Went over there and knocked on the door, and Drew, who he's in there on the YouTube, he answered, and I was like, yeah, I record this podcast called The Driving Speakerbox, and he's like, oh yeah, I love that show. I used to watch back in the day. Used to listen all the time back in the days, and like KXUA and everything. I was like, oh wow, small world. So thanks for the validation, Drew, and thanks for being a cool neighbor.
Yeah, for sure.
So shout-outs there. Dina in the comments, Dustin Diamond was a jerk, but I'm glad he didn't suffer. Nobody deserves to suffer. Well, I don't know. There's a couple people that I could think of globally that could probably deserve to suffer. But no, cancer's not anything you wish on somebody. And, Dustin Diamond, not necessarily known for a huge body of work, but, he left a mark on an entire generation of teens, giving hope to nerds everywhere that they too might be friends with both the jock and the cool guy and the cheerleader and the sexy nerd, which never existed. But he answered those dreams.
But also Zach Morris, who's trash.
Yeah, Zach Morris is kind of trash.
Zach Morris is trash. That's a fun internet thing to watch.
It is a fun internet
Which
thing.
It's available on Amazon too. You can stream it. You can just watch Zach Morris's trash.
Dina over in the comments said, my TV watching this was too loud, so I heard stunt cock from outside. My neighbor's probably confused or intrigued.
Oh.
Drew says, LOL, I was dropping it a bit too hard earlier. Hey, man, it's cool. That's what we do. Johnny Dalton says he was in Wonder Years. The Wonder Years, somebody posted online today and said that, I think it was 20-something, how many years ago that it came out.
I don't want to think about it.
It was like 1980, whatever. It's 20 years in the past that it was looking at the 60s, and it would have been, if they were going to make the Wonder Years today, it would take place in 2001.
Don't like that.
Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. That's weird, man.
But that's one of those things where, from 80s or early 90s going back to 60s, there's a drastic change in technologies, and I think it's not as drastic really when you do something now. Well, going back like that, because they did that with Happy Days was 70s going back to 50s. That 70s show was 90s going back to 70s, and they had that trend there for a while. They even tried that 80s show, which didn't pan out.
Land.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that I've been saying for years, and however, it doesn't really coincide with the theme of movies, but when you start talking about generational divides between peoples, I've hypothesized for years, ever since I was like a doe-eyed like freshman in college, being like, philosophies of blah, and I'm gonna read these books and sound smart. But I was always saying that generations, I predicted then, and I still hold true to this, that are not going to be defined by when you were born, but your adoption of technology and how you interact with the world. And, I think that these lines of generations are going to get super blurry as the technological divide starts to happen between people that are, a little bit more tech savvy than people that are a little bit more, whatever the opposite of tech savvy is.
What if you're like me and you used to be really good at technology and then you just lost all of it?
Yeah, well then you're an old granddad fart from the other generation.
Crap.
And you got to stay cool and hip. Like, I'm older than you and I'm better at technology and I'm cool and hip. Look, my sleeves are pushed up.
That's because I haven't had a functioning computer for like 10 plus years.
What's stopping you?
Money. And
says the Xbox whatever that you got at your house.
I have no need for a computer outside of sitting here right now.
Okay, so Vince just noticed the Eye of Sauron on our
Pretty
set
sick,
there.
right?
Yeah, so actually it was a project. I made this. This was a project that I was making as a topper for my Lord of the Rings pinball game, and I could never really figure a way to attach it safely and have it boot up at the same time as the game. And I was just cleaning my house today, and I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna bring this up to the studio and see if it reads on camera, and it did. So basically what I did was I got the DVD copy of one of the movies where it's like a really good shot of the Eye of Sauron, right? And then I took that video clip and then just looped it for about 8 minutes, 9 minutes, and then cropped it down because this thing only it's a different resolution. It's not letterbox. And then I just cropped the eye, and it's like a little dome-eyed projector. It's nerd stuff, man.
Yeah, I just know that when I walked into the studio today, it was one of the first things I saw, and I got very excited about it. It looks so cool.
Johnny's talking about rabid cassette tape community out there. Speaking of cassette tapes, one of our viewers...
Actually, it looks better on camera than it does.
Oh, it doesn't?
It looks pretty good on camera.
Well, that's what they said about Dustin Diamond. But, rabid cassette tapes. I'm about to send this one to my buddy Logan, who started doing those VHS cassette tape notebooks that we talk about, which you can now actually order on Recollect's website. Mm-hmm. So Recollect, they're a local consignment shop here in town, but they also are selling these. You can get yours online, and they will ship it to you. You used to have to get them in the store. So, there you go. Whoa, what else? Are we talking about? Speaking of the internet, crazy internet stuff, we have to talk about it. We cannot ignore the huge hedge fund elephant that's in the room, the AMC and GameStop the situation that is shaking the world right now. Did you know that there are already 2 movies and possibly a television show in the works about the saga of what's happening right now with AMC?
You have to hop on it quick before people are like, oh yeah, I remember that. Whatever. No one cares. I've had AMC stock since way before this. Yeah, smart move.
And I'm in it now. I'm diamond hands to the moon, baby.
This morning on the news, they had an article that I saw, and it said silver is the new GameStop.
So that's fake news, man.
Yeah, but it was like they're already calling things like, oh, this is the new thing. So now you have all these people that are going to lurk in the subreddits, and it's going to ruin the whole thing.
But no one on. That's the crazy thing. Are you in the Reddits? I'm in the Reddits. No, I'm in the weeds in the Reddits. Shout outs to Blake, who just tuned in over on Facebook. What's up, Blake? But here's the thing. Nobody in the Reddit said anything about silver, which is what makes this thing so interesting, because the pundits and the people that the hedge funds pay, like CNBC and all this stuff, are going, yeah, silver's where all the Redditors are going. People like Jake that don't read Reddits and are still trying to get on board of this because you heard somebody talk about it. Well, it's now silver now. Don't pay attention to this. And everybody's like, yeah, so it must be over. There must be. And all the people in the Reddit are like, where did this news come from? It didn't come from us. And so it's like this huge conspiratorial thing showing even further how crooked and crazy this stuff is. It's fascinating. I have been staying awake, not being able to sleep, getting on Reddit, checking my Robin. I'm trying to get out of Robinhood. I migrated to Fidelity. Like, I bought shares of AMC on GameStop or on Cash App this morning because Robinhood's blocking it. It's the most fun I've ever had and the most control I've ever felt about my finances in the entire history of being a grown-ass adult. It's exciting and exhilarating and diamond hands. So I'm saying I almost bought a billboard on I-549 that was just like diamond hands. Not DDP. But
oh, man, I was so excited. I was like, can I give it a high five? Like, can you have a self-high five? Bam.
Well, but here's the interesting thing. I know Vince doesn't want us to talk too much about this, but how it relates to the movie industry world is we're going to focus on AMC, because AMC, again, everybody's kind of focusing on GameStop because GameStop is not a profitable company. And
unlike AMC, no one ever really liked GameStop because
and it was already on its decline.
Well, and it's been a joke for a really long time of like you walk in with $5,000 worth of stuff and they're like, well, I can give you $10 credit.
Right.
The whole thing. GameStop was a model set to fail when things became more easily accessible to people, because who wants to go in and be ripped off by something like that?
It's an antiquated model for sure, but you can devalue that company naturally and be like, okay, it's not worth that much. But AMC was a titan. and potentially could be a titan again in the movie business, with the exception of this pandemic that's kind of in the way. And, everybody's devaluing AMC because right now, yes, it's not profitable, but once this pandemic starts to change, theaters have the potential to come back again. And, I'm so fascinated about this is because if you think of the actual just bare bones concept of stocks, right? You're investing in a company. Okay, so it's really, how do you value a company? Well, if I'm looking for investors and I've got a company that hasn't started yet, well, my company's not worth shit. But I'm asking a whole bunch of people to invest in my company, and then I get that money on my company's worth something, and then I use that capital to become better. And what has happened is all these people have kind of bailed out AMC when the government wouldn't do it.
$917 million worth.
And that's a really, really, really interesting idea, because this is the first time in the history of economics where we have been able to crowdsource and big time invest with just the simple fact of you're with like-minded people. And, you're looking at Kiva, which was kind of the start of crowdfunding, and Kickstarter and all these kind of things. But now the whole Kickstarter concept is like, well, you know what? If the government's not going to help this company, well, let's all just throw a whole bunch of money at it because we can. And now the stock market and they, all the hedge funders are like, no, you can't do that because we wanted it to fail so we can make money off of it. And so who's to say whose money is more valid? And I think that this is a really interesting thing because this could potentially save AMC. Because they went asking for the $912 million to keep them through January or July, and now that has extended the finish line of those funds a little further, assuming the hedge funds don't crush it.
That was the money that allowed them to extend to that. Dina pointed out that you had talked about your AMC stock on the show before all of this happened, so you can be a big hipster.
Oh, dude, I'm always a hipster about it. Shout out to Garrett, who's tuning in from Kansas City. What's up, man?
Referred to you as a nerd there, which I think he had every right.
I think that word was plural nerds.
Blake,
it was
yes,
multiple.
We did already talk about Dustin Diamond today. We had not talked about some of the other unfortunate celebrity passings that we had in the past week.
Who else died?
Cloris Leachman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
From Mel Brooks movies and Beer Fest and
movies that could never be made again.
Yeah, like 100. Like you've probably seen Cloris Leachman countless times and things. She's always funny, always great. And Larry King passed too, and he was a titan of television. So.
Blake, he was talking about the Dustin Diamond. That's why I wore my The Max shirt from Tulsa. Shout outs to my homies in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that operate The Max. Maja and Lucas, they are really cool people, fellow supporters of the pinball movement. So if you guys are tuning in, thanks for all the love. Let's see.
Johnny said if theaters start having pants optional Wednesdays, he might start going.
Dude, it's always pants optional.
You have no idea how many people you see in regular public, but especially the movie theater, that are in their jammies.
Oh, they're every time
in their comfy pants,
with their blankies and their slippers.
Actually, Malco, one of the bigger chains in our area,
or buy them.
They sell them. Yeah, they don't rent them.
Okay,
but they have
airline blankets.
Yeah, they have blankets at the front counter now. When you go up and buy your ticket, you can purchase a blanket.
Can I admit something?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're here to do, is embarrass ourselves.
I love airline blankets. Like if no one's watching, I'll put that thing in my backpack. Like I know. Well, now I think they make you keep them now because whatever. But they're like this fleecy, thin, because I don't like big, thick fabrics because I feel like, I don't know, the world's trying to kill me. But the airline blankies are just like so perfect and cheap, and it kind of, an airline blankie is kind of indiscernible from like a blankie from when you were a baby and you managed to keep it somehow into your 20s, and it's just like barely hanging together, but it gives you so much comfort.
Okay,
like,
Linus.
Yeah, dude, yeah. And dude, airline blankets. Anybody out there like enjoy airline blankets, or is it just me? Am I just being a weirdo?
I've never been on a plane while it was in motion.
Well, that's because you're a chicken.
No, I don't like to travel, and I don't have any reason to have ever been on a plane.
Dude, all the reasons to be on a plane. Seeing new things, going to see wrestling things, going to...
I can drive to all of that.
I
have drove to all of that.
Fast and the Furious conventions, going to Star Trek
every
things.
Friday night at Sonic, bro. I can do any Fast and Furious convention I want to. It's
or just
the meet.
Being in the sky and looking down below and feeling like Icarus flying into the heavens.
Yeah, guess what happened to Icarus? He flew a little too high, his wings melted, and he plummeted.
Yeah, and we still talk about him being a legend. I was afraid of flying when I was a kid.
There's no
dude.
fear. I have no reason to go anywhere that requires a plane.
Yeah. It's okay, bro.
No, you know what though? Growing up, I always thought it would be really cool to pilot a helicopter.
You want to? I've been in a helicopter too. I've been in a Black Hawk. They're fun.
A couple of Bikes, Blues, and Barbecues ago.
Did you ride in a helicopter?
No, but I almost paid for tickets for my dad and myself to be in one of those military planes they had at the airfield. In motion, not just the getting on the plane and walking around, which was super cool. Actually, It's always cool to be aboard something like that. So
going back before the comment disappears there from Vince talking about a cross country train, which is something I've never done, always wanted to do.
Trains are so expensive.
Lately.
I've wanted to be on like a meal cart train or in like a
and then
train
solve a murder mystery.
No, but a train that has like a cabin to it or something, so that you can like. Yeah,
eat Bernie Bots like jelly beans.
Yeah, exactly. Have a chocolate frog lady come around and get my Dumbledore collector's card and all that stuff.
Yeah, dude.
But they were always too expensive. So
he said that one time they cranked the AC up super high and he was freezing, but still refused to buy a blanket. But airline blankets are free. And that's what's cool. And McLean says he's never used one on a flight. Next time you're on a flight, just ask for one. Just be like, Burr, can I have a blanket? And they'll be like, yeah, check it out. Here it is. And, my mom says that's a true story about the airline blankets because, I kept one for a really long time. And anyway, Blake says, what's y'all's thought on the new Mighty Ducks show?
I didn't know there was a new Mighty Ducks show. Is it animated? Is it live action?
It's Emilio needing something to do.
Well, they're bringing back Coach Emilio, huh?
Because what else is
Coach Gordon?
What's it?
Gordon
Estevez.
Something. Yeah, there it is.
Gordon Estevez. I mean, what is he doing these days? I mean, Emilio. I realize I'm wearing a Night at the Roxbury basically outfit here. But it's just more Disney Plus antics. Yeah. What is love?
Yeah.
Baby, don't hurt me. Dude, what was that? Hardaway?
I don't know, but I was really into that sketch, and then the movie when it came out, I was so excited about it. Yeah, I thought that was Gordon Bombay. There it is. Thanks, Vince.
Don't hurt me. God, I'm gonna have to listen to that later.
Just the whole way home. Don't bust out the window like they do in the movie. Yeah.
Mighty Ducks, Disney Plus, all these places are scrambling to get content. You're going to start seeing remakes and sequels and prequels, like the Sonic animated show that's coming out on Netflix, which I'm okay for. Even though the voice of Sonic retired completely,
but can they just get that dude that did Sonic in the movie from
I'm sure.
Parks and Rec and all that?
I'm sure they're going to do that. Yeah. Let's see. Holly asks, would watch that. Oh, wait, no. She just claims she would watch the movie with us being
the Night at the Roxbury guys.
So another true life confession from me here is, for those of you that listen to the show all the time, I own and operate Pinpoint, which is a local pinball bar here in downtown Fayetteville. And when I had the original idea to open up this club, it had a different name and a different concept. And it was because we had to work with the space that was there, and it was going to be like the outside, but inside was totally gonna be like, it was gonna be super like urban street alley themed.
You were gonna have like a derelict.
I mean, kinda. It was, it's gonna be Block 23. It's gonna be super like urban, gritty, streets themed. And I was on this whole.
Changed your mind.
Nah, dude, I was on this quest. I had all these like crazy old urban street signs and lamp posts, and the downstairs was gonna look like a subway entrance to New York. And you could go downstairs. Is back when I had the upstairs and the downstairs.
You think something New York is gonna fly in Arkansas?
Dude, it was gonna be sick.
No, pizza is the only thing New York.
And we were gonna have pizza. It was gonna be. We were gonna have all the like, because there was a kitchen back then, and we were gonna have the foods. We're gonna have the environment. You go down into the subway station. It's where like the cool stuff was going on. But Pinpoint happened, and I'm glad. It was the fates guiding me through. But dude, Night at the Roxbury was a little bit of Inspirato there.
Well, there you go. You know what? I don't know what else is going on with Johnny here, but he did say that in a survival situation, I look like I would be good to cuddle with to stay warm and survive.
Is that if we like slice your belly open
not like a tauntaun?
No. You see how these things smell on the inside. Holly says, I can't imagine what our storage looks like. Which one? I have several, and they're all insane. My mom, as cluing in here, Jan from Facebook says telephone booth, and that's in the bar. Yeah, I bought the telephone booth because it was supposed to be urban,
and strange things happen at the Circle K.
Yeah, so I bought the phone booth, which is backed by the ski balls.
Well, you know what? Talking movies, Vince says that he's debating on getting Paramount Plus. Doesn't know if he should, but apparently there's a behind the scenes thing about Armie Hammer
because he's no longer in Godfather. He's stepping down because. He's probably trying to eat young women too much.
I don't know. Speaking of eating,
sleep with the fishes.
Vince thinks that I've never eaten paste picante sauce. No, paste picante sauce is the one because
he's the only one that If any picante
did I not
sauce,
just talk about this the other day?
Any picante sauce, this bland dude would be chowing down on.
What the hell, bro? Are you kidding me? Are we not the cool boyfriends that go eat weird, strange foods and
Did you just
things?
call us boyfriends?
No. You wish,
you
dog.
said cool boyfriends.
No.
Pause.
Well, we're going to make Johnny jealous. He wants to cuddle with me, so. But
you don't like things super spicy.
I don't like it, but I will eat it. You've witnessed me eat very spicy things.
That's true.
And people, they're like,
but I enjoy spicy.
See, they ask me if I like spicy, and I say, no, I don't because I
paste
don't go
picante sauce
out
is
of my
the
way.
ketchup of salsa.
No, the thing is, paste picante sauce is the alternative to New York City, because in the commercials, they'd be like, hey, I got that salsa from New York City, and then all the guys
New York City
ate paste would be like, no,
get
don't
a rope.
That. Yeah, you need to have paste. And yeah. Paste ain't bad to just sit around and eat chips with, like, actually, instead of popcorn, that's what me and my mom would often do, is sit
just
around.
Crack open a paste and chug.
Yeah, well, we would eat chips.
And it makes the little pop on the pop.
We would eat chips and salsa watching movies at home instead of eating popcorn.
Okay. Blake says, WandaVision, go.
You know what? I have a Disney Plus now since I got rid of my Hulu with live TV, and I've yet to even log in because I haven't had a reason to use Disney Plus.
Well, so WandaVision, my take on the whole thing, again, it's just expanded universe glue. The concept, I've only watched the first episode. The concept of it, are you laughing at Johnny's comment?
I'm laughing at your mom's comment about us with the boyfriends.
Cool boyfriends.
Hey, man, you know what?
Cool boyfriends.
Y'all are the ones that have to live with it. There's a definite space between them. But you know what? If you want to have your doujinshi and your fanfics, you're already on the internet.
Films.
So, hey.
But
yeah, well,
so
WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Answer a Vince question about film.
It's one of those things.
Vince clipped it.
I think it's a really interesting experiment that Disney Plus is taking in, stylistically. I think it's really a unique approach because it kind of, I think it works in a way that you could never translate to film, and it helps connect these characters in a way that is interesting. But do I like it? I can't say, because a show for me, I have to let a season simmer, because you can wham bam like a pilot and a couple episodes in and it just fizzle at the end, and I'm just worried that this is going to be one of those things, kind of like Mandalorian. Yeah, there's a couple episodes that are freaking stellar, but as a whole, I don't think the show's that strong. And
now I did see a clip or a meme that said that everyone kind of starts to change their mind around episode 4, and Dina's come in with a comment saying the same thing, that at episode 4 it flips around. But that's one of those things I really hate about television and some of the people that push for other people to watch the shows. They're like, well, once you get past these like really crappy parts of it, it really starts to take off, and that's when you get involved. And that's not to say I'm not guilty of that myself.
Okay. I was just waiting for
our friend Logan, who makes the fine notebooks that you can purchase at Recollect, which are actually super rad. Obviously, we show them off all the time. He started watching Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I think both you and I were like, oh, dude, season 1 and 2. But 3 is where it really takes off. But he's fortunate enough that he's come into it kind of new, fresh. And he's like, actually, 1 and 2 was good. He didn't have the comparison of 3 and later to be like, I don't understand really care for 1 and 2.
The truth. Yeah. The truth. That's how I felt about Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I don't think you've still ever watched.
Never have.
No. It's so good. But the first episode, a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you got to watch it."
That say that
they're so stupid.
They're too young to have watched older things.
No, dude.
I'm too old. I was too old,
dude.
But
no,
to be fair on
so
that,
good.
When Harry Potter came out, I was too old, but I've gone back and I've watched those movies, and I've actually thoroughly enjoyed Harry Potter movies.
See, even Vince says and Vince hates a lot of stuff that we're all like, yeah.
And I don't know.
It's just so good.
It's one of those things where it was like,
even Legend of Korra was pretty good.
The pseudo Asian Nickelodeon attempt to anime thing and child humor.
No.
None of it's ever.
You don't even know.
I don't know, but none of it's appealed to me. I've seen clips.
Dude, bro, once you see the episode about bloodbending, you're going to be like, oh shit, this stuff is for real, dog. And you're going to get hooked, and you're going to be like, this is not for kids. This is teaching kids.
How many seasons
like
do I have
Miyazaki,
to sit through to get
like
to that?
Miyazaki. You're telling me
there's nothing not perfect and classic about Miyazaki.
That's what I'm saying. But My Neighbor Totoro is made for babies.
No.
It is a baby's movie.
Totoro's creepy, and it has yokai, and it has themes of like the mom in the hospital and the dad having to make it and struggling.
Avatar.
No.
Does
Avatar have dust sprites and Totoros?
Yeah, it has Appa,
That's not a Totoro.
He's a giant.
He's a cat bus.
But he is basically a cat bus.
The cat bus is very creepy.
Yeah, but Appa's is essentially cat bus.
Does it have a sick theme song like Totoro does in Nihongese, where they go
Totoro, 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 Totoro? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we didn't rehearse this at all.
I haven't.
But I'm telling you, Avatar is good, dude. It like in the early episodes, Aang, who's this kid, and at the first episode, he's like, yeah, I want to just sled because I'm 12, and that's what 12-year-olds do, right? Hey, cool, let's have fun, let's throw snowballs.
And he's Captain America because he was frozen.
And then, yeah, but way cooler, and he comes back and he goes, oh, holy shit, all my friends are dead. Everything I know is dead. I'm 115 years old. I want to die. I hate everything in the world. And you're like, oh shit, this is dark. And he goes, the entire weight of the world is looking at me to fix their problems, and this is stressing me out. Can someone kill me, please? And
I feel that.
And he's like, didn't ask for this. I just want to run away. And it's like you're like it pedals to the metal really, really fast. And it's a good show.
One day I will have the free time, and I will begin to watch a 15, 20-year-old cartoon or whatever it is. And
I'm telling you, if you like Miyazaki, you'll like Avatar. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, but I think a big part of me liking Miyazaki is that I like yokai.
It's true. There's a lot more yokai in Miyazaki than Avatar. Johnny says, wife's cousin is Pan from watching Dragon Ball GT. You're a big Dragon Ball GT, right?
No, GT is the one that came after Z, and the Akira Toriyama had nothing to do with it, and they made it where they had Super Saiyan 4, and they turned into the red, half Saiyan ape, half like normal form fusion thing. But in Dragon Ball Fighter Z, They will soon. Bro. Yeah, actually, this is what I was talking about. The Fusion Paw, they're going to have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta available in March because they just released Super Baby 2, and both of those characters are from Dragon Ball GT. Super Baby 2 is the guy that takes over Vegeta's body, transforms it into himself, and fights, and Goku has to beat him.
You think you have a cooler name than Super Baby 2?
Dude, I don't know. Japan in the 90s. I don't know what to tell you on that one.
That's true. Dina says, Unico and the Island of Magic is freaking scary, and that shit played on like Disney. Dude, there's a lot of crazy Disney stuff that is worth revisiting. And that's something that Disney lost, and I blame Lilo and Stitch for that.
You've turned Vince against me. He said I sounded like a fool, and now he says he hates when people say they don't have time to watch things, but they talk about the other things they watch. Hey, man.
He's like, I don't have time to watch this because I spent 8 hours watching other stuff that I've already seen.
Listen, dude, you know what? You know what I spent watching? Hours watching? Super Sick Kiss concert.
Yeah, we did. We finally watched that. It's a pay-per-view event over the New Year's Eve Kiss 2020 Goodbye event. It was the biggest concert to ever happen in 2020. It was the only big concert to happen in 2020, and it was in Dubai, and it was all virtual event, and it took like over a month to build the stage and productions. They were shooting flames 100 feet in the air, setting Guinness World Records. It was pretty awesome, and we watched it last night, finally, before my view code expired, and it was pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome. No, but Vince, one day I will. I have enough people. Bo is not my only friend that's consistently on my case about watching some Nickelodeon cartoon from 18 years ago. So there will be a point in time, probably sooner rather than later, that I will find myself watching it. But you know what? Earlier, speaking of things that I watch instead, because it is something that I enjoy and have interest in, you asked earlier if there's a particular foreign film that makes me stop and watch it, in the same way that we talked about Shawshank and Die Hard earlier. And it's generally going to be something by Kurosawa.
We were just talking about Yojimbo the other night.
Most typically, it's going to be Yojimbo or Kagemusha.
Kagemusha's long, but it's really good.
It is very long, but
not as long as Ron or Seven Samurai.
Yeah, well, Seven Samurai is very enjoyable, and the length of it doesn't seem the same as Ron. Ron lasts just forever.
Drags.
But
thanks, Shakespeare.
yeah, Kurosawa spear. Kagemusha,
we know
though,
stuff.
It has Takeda Shingen and Uesugi Kenshin, and it has the battles that they fight and his body double, so it goes through everything that I went to school for and everything that I enjoy about history. It has massive battles on a scale with all real people in armor,
dying
with their sashimono and their weapons, and they're assaulting castles, and you get to see different armies going up against each other, but at the same time you have political intrigue, you have dark shady dealings, hence the name Kagemusha. You have your shadow person, your body double, in the place of Takeda Shingen, and you have these towering figures of Japanese history. And
counterexample is just saying Ron is so good throughout. Just going to agree. And Holly, I saw your comment. I'm going to address this here in just a minute.
So, probably Yojimbo more than anything. I really do like Yojimbo and Kagemusha, but it's hard to have those on like a channel flip the same way that you would find something like Shawshank or Die Hard where it's on and you have to stop and watch it. They don't put a lot of those out there. So other movies that might be just as interesting, if not more so, aren't really ones that you stop and do. It's one that you intentionally put on to watch. Like if Zatoichi meets Yojimbo, that's one that I will put on from time
anything
to time.
Zatoichi is pretty awesome.
You've still never seen that, right?
It's been like when I was in high school was like the last time, because when I was in high school I went on a big Zatoichi binge.
Well, the Zatoichi meets Yojimbo is the best one, and I have the DVD.
Because I know you're gonna hate this. You're gonna hate this because I was a huge Takeshi Kitano fan. You know this.
Yeah, Beat.
And he did a Zatoichi film.
I hate that one. Yes,
I know you hate that.
I absolutely despise
that
one.
But it did get me to finally go and rewatch all the Zatoichi films just because I got introduced to it through Beat Takeshi's Zatoichi the Blind Swordsman. So, yeah, I don't know. I know you hate that one, but...
I do hate that one. That's
it was
because,
a good gateway!
No, but they're like, he has superpowers, and it turns out he wasn't blind at all. He was just keeping his eyes closed to keep his superpowers at bay. I hate it. I absolutely hated it. And they made him blonde for some unknown reason. I really don't know on that. If that was one of Kitano's jokes, because fun fact, Beat Takeshi, as much of like a twisted, crooked, disgusting, horrific figure that he plays in all of his movies, from beating and murdering children in Battle Royale to just being the most despicable Yakuza guy you can find in almost all of his movies, he's a comedian. Yeah. That's where his career started, is the Japanese duo comedian scene. And he's a very funny man. Look at Takeshi's Castle. That's who he is. So unless that's one of his jokes on cinema, I don't get it. I absolutely hate that movie more than anything.
Well, before it gets too lost in the comments, Holly was asking about Dragon Riders of Pern.
Hold on. No, do not remake Heavyweights, Blake. Heavyweights is perfect, and I love it, and don't even.
Hey, dude, we don't need to make a Heavyweights because everybody's body is perfect and beautiful.
Well, I said they could remake it with a young comedic female cast. It could be
no,
so
dude,
awesome.
Everybody's beautiful.
No, yeah, I hate that idea.
Anyway, so Holly was talking about how now that she's seen dragons done on screen in a not shitty way. I mean, we're not talking Aragon here. We're talking.
You know what? I didn't think Aragon was.
Aragon was what? I almost walked out of the theater during Aragon.
I thought Jeremy Irons was super sick. I never read the books.
It was like what was his name?
That was one of those things. I was too old for the books when they came out. I just watched the movie. And
John Malkovich was up there being like, dragons, and I was like, I'm out. I'm so out.
But Jeremy Irons was very cool.
Jeremy Irons is always kind of cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she mentioned Pern, and Pern. Dragon Riders of Pern. I think this is back in the 60s when those books were written. Very cool stuff. My only introduction to Dragon Riders of Pern was a Sega Dreamcast game that came out in the early 2000s because I was a big Sega nerd and a big Dreamcast nerd. And yes, to this day. I got into Record of Lotus War through Dreamcast. I got into Dragon Riders of Pern through Dreamcast. Like, a lot of really cool stuff.
Records of Lotus War is sick.
Yeah, it is sick.
There's a video game?
Yes, it is extra sick. Have you never played the Dreamcast Chronicles of Lotus War?
You know, I have several of them, like I have the Nihongi's manga.
Oh, dude, it's cool. The anime is all right, but Lotus War is pretty badass. Anyway, Dragon Riders of Pern would be a really, really good series in the style of Game of Thrones. I think it's just going to be one of those things that the books have to start trending somewhere before somebody picks it up, and those books haven't trended since the 80s. I mean, it's kind of like when Disney took the chance on John Carter, because the John Carter books hadn't trended since like 1904, and they're like, oh, these are pretty cool because the John Carter books are really freaking cool.
They are cool. And that movie is actually
pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it was a commercial flop, and
because Disney did not market.
They didn't know how to do it. And then once the word flop or tank got out on the market, everybody was like, "Oh, that movie's bad." I was like, "No, it's not bad. It's good."
Well, speaking of unsuccessful movies,
John Carter's great.
And Johnny asked us if we watched Svengoolie. Do you ever watch Svengoolie? I do. I like
Svengoolie.
Yeah, I like Svengoolie from time to time.
Counterexample on Twitch asked if the Blue-Eyed Zatoichi that came out in 2014. Yes, that is the one that we were talking about.
Johnny said he wants to see Steel Magnolias remade with Gilbert Gottfried and Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh my god!
I think me and you would be the only people in that movie theater.
Oh my god!
Us and Johnny would be there.
It would be the most abrasive film ever made. Holly said she loved John Carter. Agreed.
Yeah, it's such a underrated movie because Disney did not allow for it to succeed, but I think it's really good. And one of my uncles who has read I think all of the John Carter books, he said it was just how the character in the books are and everything, and it was pretty spot on. And he really enjoyed it for that.
Dina says, guarantee you a studio has had the rights to Pern, but waiting for the trend to hit. Guaranteed. Studios buy up those IPs like crazy. Let's see.
Well, talking about dragons and things like that, Game of Thrones, they did announce this past week that Warner Brothers is looking into the possibility of making an animated Game of Thrones series for HBO Max, since they're really trying to hit hard with their animated. I'm sure that since they released HBO Max and they have it done in a way where they have like channels on it, they have their TCM channel, they have their Cartoon Network channel, things like that, DC channel. I think they've probably seen a large uptick in people viewing animated films, especially with all of the animated DC offerings they
Speaking
acquired.
of, they announced 4 new shows. I think there's going to be a Static Shock show coming out that sounds pretty
live
cool.
action or animated?
Animated
Are they going to get Phil Lamar back to be Static Shock?
I don't know.
They have to. If Static's not the same.
I skimmed through the article because I just skipped to the part that I care about, which was Static Constantine. Shock. And they
tell me you don't care about Static? He's the leader of the...
Constantine is the coolest DC character.
A punk bitch, and he's not even DC. He's...
No, Constantine freaking rules.
Static rules. Static became the leader of the
Constantine's
Justice
the only
League
dude
in the
that can
future.
put Swamp Thing in his place, bro.
Nobody can put Swamp Thing in his place.
Constantine can. He could put the devil in his place. He could put Superman in his place. He could put everybody in his place. Constantine doesn't even give a shit. He's just like, give me the booze. Where's my smokes?
Oh.
I don't even want to be here.
Speaking of, they're making a
magic.
They're making a Sandman series too.
Oh my God!
And
they've already cast it, and there's 2 more additional volumes out on the audiobook. If you're listening to the Neil Gaiman audiobook,
talking about DC and Sandman and Constantine. A lot of people don't know this, but one of everyone's favorite Netflix shows, Lucifer, is a character from Sandman who Constantine interacts with, and they did so in the CW Arrowverse when they did the crossover of all of those shows, the Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, Black Lightning,
Constantine was
Heroes
in there
of Tomorrow, Constantine, and Constantine interacted with Lucifer, and he was like the one person that showed up, and Lucifer just dropped everything he was doing, and he was like, oh shit.
Oh, Constantine's here.
Yeah. But nobody's cooler than Static Shock, dude. Those are big
Except
facts.
Constantine.
Batman Beyond.
Yeah, ain't Constantine.
No.
I'm telling you. Pretty freaking cool. Dina even says Constantine is one of her faves.
Constantine's cool, man. But I mean, no one's cooler than.
I mean, he is the and I am the first to identify how cliche and lame the like bad boy trope is, but the Constantine just it even gets me, and I'm just like, God. He's so cool.
You know what? I never hated that Keanu Reeves
Constantine it was
movie.
Pretty good. He just wasn't blonde and British enough.
Yeah.
But it was fine, and it had old what's his name playing Satan, who I always really like. Oh, his name.
Russian dude.
Yeah,
the guy that always plays the Russian guy.
The slimy guy. What is his name? I always forget, but he's so good. I'm sure I'll think of it, or somebody's gonna Google it and put it in there. What else we got in the comments?
Well, Vince keeps clipping us, and I'm writing down the links so that we can view them.
More like constant steam, he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about an animated show. It's really cool, and this is something that I've been saying for over a decade. Peter Stormare, that's right. Peter Stormare. He was in American Gods, too, which he did was great. Perfectly cast in American Gods.
And he was in Armageddon.
He's so good. Peter Stormare. He just was always kind of weird. What was I going to say? I don't even remember now. I was going to say a thing. Oh, animated shows. Something I've been saying on the show for over a decade now is, trying to convince audiences that watching animated stuff is not just for kids, and it's cool and it's acceptable, and you can tell huge stories that are far more believable in an animated context than they'll ever be in live action. Why? I'll never understand why people will accept live action Marvel movies, because those are some of the dumbest things I've ever seen on screen. But then they're like, oh, no, I'm not going to watch Young Justice.
Young Justice is sick.
Exactly. And they're not going to watch...
Which I started watching Titans, and Titans is turd.
Like Avatar.
Titans is turd trash.
Well, because it loses so much being live action.
Well, it doesn't have to. CG exists. They could make it cool. They just refuse to.
It's so hard to make it cool because at the end of the day, you're like, I know that's a real human being wearing that rubber suit and they've like CG'd electricity coming out of his ding dong or whatever. But, you know, in animated, you transport yourself to a different world. That is the magic of animation. And, you know, everyone's like, let's just put Chris Pine in it. And it's like, no, I don't want a Chris Evans or a Chris Pine or a Chris Jericho or a Chris whoever has a last name.
Hey.
That I recognize.
Chris Jericho into everything.
You know, I don't need to see them in a suit doing superhero things because at the end of the day,
Chris
they're
Jericho
always.
He's a professional wrestler.
I was trying to think of Chris, Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris.
Which one is?
I don't know because I hate him.
He's the TV one.
The Super Jesus used to be fat, and now people like him because he's hot. And he's still the same Super Jesus funny guy. Whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Pratt, Chris Pratt. I just want a supercut of him just falling down a lot.
I hate that.
Yeah, Google. It's funnier later. Let's see.
It's the worst joke.
I'm sure somebody's already done that.
Worst joke ever told on this show.
Yeah, well, you know, they can't all be winners. Is there anything else we got to talk about? What's on your paper?
What's
on the Grips paper?
Nothing today. There wasn't really a lot going on. The world was taken over by the Reddit thing.
Oh man,
people passed away, and it's just kind of a big bummer.
I'm really waiting for my Fidelity account to transfer over so I can buy more GME in the morning, but I don't think it's gonna push through until because the dip is dipping. When I dip, you dip, we dip. It's like down there, and I'm gonna scoop it up. Scoop up them drippings.
I have no money and no intelligence, so
dude, I don't either. But you just find it. You just sacrifice whatever you got.
I'm too busy doing things for the show.
I'm too busy. I don't have any money because I just bought 3 really expensive action figures.
They're not expensive, actually. But look, I bought all these Predators so that one day they can find their way into the background, or just.
They're not expensive. They're only $40 each.
No. They would have to be a lot cooler if they were.
They weren't $40. They were $39.99.
I think they're honestly, I think they're like $10 each.
No, bullshit. There is nothing in this world that exists that's $10. Dude, like this cup was $10. I guarantee you that was not $10. It was $29.99. I promise you, because that's how much the Gremlin ones were.
Well, those are those Nico like super figures.
What's the difference?
These are hanging in the toy aisle where kids.
Well, you know what? You bought 3 of those, and at $29.95, you could have had 15 shares of AMC.
Well,
that's what you could have had, bro.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. Yeah.
And then you could to the moon to those tendies, baby. You got to get on this Reddit, dude. I've avoided Reddit for so long because I knew what would happen to me if I got into Reddit.
Reddit person.
God,
I know that I could do it. The structure of it, I can't even really follow.
It sucks.
It's
so addictive.
I had a friend. She talked me into getting on Reddit a while back, and I got on there and I tried. I got on the Sea of Thieves and the Warhammer 40K.
Oh, the geekiest ones. Don't get on that. Start with the Star Trek.
Well, I got on the ones like the painting the minis ones.
Oh, well, but you don't even paint minis.
No, but I'd like to, but I'm not that dexterous. My fingers I can't do fine details.
And as Vince said,
I'm on enough Star Trek meme Facebook pages and all that.
Vince nailed what makes Reddit good. He says, I only follow the things that make me happy on Reddit. It's the anti-Twitter. I can't do Twitter because you can't filter it out. It's just a continual stream. But in Reddit, you can be like, you know what? I'm just going to go to the subreddit and read this today.
Johnny asked if I watched the Royal Rumble. I did not, but you know what? When I signed up for Twitter forever ago, I did it specifically for the purpose of following different wrestlers and things like that. I thought it would be interesting, and it turns out it's nothing but retweets and shares and links to other things, and you don't get to see anything from the people that you wanted to follow. I hated it, and I decided to never, ever, ever use it because it was not at all what I thought it was, and there's not a way to filter out that nonsense. So I don't know. The boards, listen, dude, I used to be back on the Chan boards. You feel me? Like the ones like
4chan.
You can't talk about it, dude. It's one of the rules. You can't do that kind of thing.
You just said Chan boards.
Yeah, because there's a ton of them, bro.
Okay.
I wasn't saying the specific one that I was primarily there creating memes back before any of you normies knew what memes were, bro. Oh yeah, here comes Vince and his favorite image board. But no, man, I was there back in the day. I helped invent memes. I was part of it before anyone knew what memes were. I have several friends that
you were
can
Dat
attest
Boy.
to it. Yeah, before Dat Boy ever came into being.
You were the Ooga Chugga baby.
I'm talking about
Dude,
charging my laser and shoop to whoop and
Ooga Chugga baby was the proto meme.
Cockmongler and
I'm telling you, Ooga Chugga baby. I worked at Spencer's Gifts in the 90s, and they had Ooga Chugga baby because it was on Ally McBeal. And
it was called Dancing Baby.
Yeah, but but when it got popular, they called it Ooga Chugga.
Yeah.
Because of the hooked on a feeling, and then that disappeared for a while, and then freaking Chris Pratt brought it back. Butthole. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Johnny, I was there, Gandalf. I was there 2,000, 3,000 years ago. Yeah, that's me.
We were there at Newgrounds. We were there at.
I was
You're
on
the Man
Newgrounds.
Now, dog.
I was on YTMND.
Yeah. 9,000.
I was on shockrave.com.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah, I've been there. I lived the internet life there for a long time.
Oh, hey, Skylar, tuning in. Spencer's, yeah, she actually worked at Spencer's with me for like a month or two, or maybe a summer. Holy crap.
You
blast
had
from
to
the
have
past.
seen me coming in there being
What's
a mall rat hanging out at the arcade.
I'm sure.
Being a cool Initial D.
I was playing
cool
Primal
boy.
Rage, and yeah. It was good times. Dean says basically a meme historian, and memes have existed forever, but put in the contemporary. Like, okay, I would say even more proto meme is the Xerox copy of the stork or whatever eating the frog, and the frog's still choking the stork while it's getting swallowed, and it says like hang in there.
Inspirational posters.
Yeah. And then they're like kitty hang in there.
Yeah.
Like, that's proto memes. That's like, caveman cave memes.
But now your memes are getting turned into movies, y'all.
They are, dude. And it's because we are so unbelievably digging the bottom of the barrel for content. And
some of these articles that I find that I read about the stock market thing going on, everyone keeps just referring to them as memes and shit posters and all that stuff. That's becoming mainstream. And then they refer to crypto as meme currency.
Yeah. Only Dogecoin.
Which started to take off. It had a 600% increase.
Dude, I know. And I bought it when it was less than a cent. I've got like 23,000 Dogecoins.
Well, you might should have sold that the other day.
No, I'm waiting for it to get to $1. And when it goes to $1, I'm going to turn the amount of money that you spent on those Predator figures into a 20 grand. So we'll see. We'll see. Fingers crossed, my homies. Tendies to the moon. Diamond hands.
What is Tendies? I don't even understand.
I know, because we're in a different generation, you boomer. Get out of here, you old boomer guy. You don't even know.
I don't know.
You don't even know what the cool hip cats. What's the
I feel like I don't want to.
Steve Buscemi,
Oh yeah, what's up? Yeah, with the skateboard.
My fellow cool kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, all right. Well, we're out of time. We got to get out of here. We gotta let our neighbors down there start rocking out and dropping that bass.
Thanks for coming to our podcast about nothing.
Well, we talked about a lot of stuff today. It was all movie related. It's what we do. But anyway, I'm Bo. I'm the boom operator.
I'm Jake.
And we will see you guys next week. Since we don't have the producer, I'm gonna hit buttons. I'm gonna hit the end show button.
Awkward outro.
And I know it's super awkward outro. Isn't this weird? Like, and then I'm gonna hit the theme song. Doesn't even work. So who cares? So we're just gonna end it like 3, 2, 1. Bye, y'all.